Today I'm going to show you exactly what I done yesterday for my balance session. Now I went into one arm handstands, I done a warm up that consisted of some flexibility work and some handstand balance. And then I slowly went through one arm handstand progressions and then finished with my working sets. Now this is going to be great for those of you that are working towards a one arm handstand, and also just to give you an example of how I structure my balance sessions. Now I kicked off the session with flexibility work. So I started with hamstring stretching. Now I'm doing it elevated so it winds the calf up as well. This is pretty advanced, so if your hamstrings are longer, don't wind it up in this way first. Do standard forward folds, single leg hamstring stretches, Jefferson curls, or something that suits your current level. But if you are a little bit more flexible through there, winding up the calf, locking the knees backwards, and even doing some bounces there really opens it up nice and fast, with the goal being to have two straight lines. So your hamstrings, calves, back of the legs, and the spine lengthening as much as possible. So bringing the head towards the toes. Then into a lunge quad stretch. Now I often do this one up against the wall. Here I'm just pulling the foot in, making sure I'm in a strong posterior tilt, keeping the low back flat, bringing the shoulders back and down, open the chest up. Then I'm letting the back foot go, going more into a lunge stretch, so working more higher up into the hip flexor, trying to keep the torso nice and upright while driving the hip down towards the floor, and then swapping over and doing the other side. Then the twisted pigeon stretch. This one I find nice and comfortable for me because my hips are particularly tight through this glute hip area, and this allows me to get in nice and deep without the back leg getting in the way. If you're a bit more advanced with this one, you could cross the legs all the way down and then lean forwards for a deeper stretch. And then I'm a big fan of using this one, so I'm warming up the wrists, the hands, the fingers, and also the hips by flossing through that Cossack position. I'm working the legs deeper and deeper, but really focused on just getting the hands nice and happy to do handstands. Then it's a thoracic mobility on the front roller, so just rolling up and down and then doing some articulations or really focusing on specific segments of the spine. And then it's up into the balance work, so straight into handstands. I'm messing around, open and closing the shoulders, open and closing the hips through a straddle, tuck, and straight transitions. This is just a really good check-in to see what my mobility is like in the upper back shoulders, how are the hips feeling, making sure I can lock that straddle in for the one arm handstand work. You want to feel for the one arm handstand that your straddle is like acting like one segment and there's no real restriction there. So the connection between the legs and the torso, the shoulders and the arms is really important. And then to solidify that even more, I'm just doing some flags. So a leg end locking in that straddle position and then going side to side. You'll notice my flexibility in my flags is not fantastic. It never has been. It's not something I've particularly worked on. It does make it a little bit harder to get the one arm handstand if you're not so flexible in the side flexion or middle splits, but it does mean that you create a more of a chunky balance position that's got a lot of room for error. And then back into middle splits is a bit of a rest off the hands. Again, opening the hips up as much as you can in the middle splits is going to make the one arm handstand much easier. And then I'm just doing a check-in on each side. So I just go on my right side, which is my better side, and then my left side, and just see how my one arm handstand feels. So it's just getting into the position, is pushing it as much as I can there. It felt okay to lift the arm for a couple of seconds on each side. And from that, I can sort of tell where I'm going to go on the next session. Now, if you're not up to doing that, fingertip positions or lifting the hands yet, you would just do the same thing. So you'd flag over, put some weight into one side, see how everything feels, hold for 2 or 3 seconds, come back, go on to the other side. And then for the next sets, I'm going to repeat that same thing, but I'm going to stack them. So I'm going to do 2 repetitions in a row on the next one. So 1, then 2, and then swap sides, 1, then 2. And I'm just going to adjust the progression of the one arm handstand depending on how it feels on each side in the moment when I'm doing the repetitions. So I do 2 reps and then I go to 3 repetitions. So the goal being to get 3 clean reps of the arm lift or whichever progression you're going towards in a row, back to back without falling, and do it on both sides. I'm having a longer rest because I'm going to do a duration hold next. So I'm doing a middle split pancake. Again, just opening the hips up, but not making it too intense because I want to make sure I've got enough energy for the next set. And this is going to be more my working sets now. So I'm doing a max hold on my right side. So just seeing how long I can hold comfortably there. I think this is like 15 to 20 seconds. And then going the same on the left hand side. Now I know I'm not going to get that 15 to 20 second hold on the left side for the one arm, so I'm just staying on fingertip because I know I can hold it there. So I do roughly that same hold time but on fingertip instead of lifting the hand up on that weaker side. So I repeated that for 2 more sets. So 3 sets of the duration hold, just because I'm trying to build up some conditioning back into the one arm handstand holds because I haven't been training them as much recently. And then I have a little bit of play on the blocks, so some climbing work for conditioning, a bit more strength there. So I do 1 climb down in straddle and back up again, and then 1 climb down in straight and back up again in the same set unbroken. Now if you're new to that, you could just do the down only, or you could just do 1 block down to 2 arms. I've got separate videos on that, I'll link those in the description. And then to finish, I do some fun. So whatever I want to do in terms of a combo, my favorite one is to do something fancy on the right hand side and then just try and get a hold on the left hand side. So I played with a straddle to full position on the right and then just lifted the hand up to the hip on the left hand side. Done a few sets of playing around with that. And then just before my class, I had a little play around with what used to be my fun party trick. I need to get back into doing more of of these. These are great fun when you start getting them. And they do make your window of catch or your room for error very big. You're not likely to fall out of a one-arm handstand if you can wobble around and catch in that position. I can do it on my right hand side, I can't do it on my left. Oh, and guys, just a quick note, if you do have my app, I made an error and a lot of the videos weren't showing for you guys. I had them set for private. So now if you go to the follow along video section, there's like 40 odd videos in there. They're now all available for you to view. And also the multi-skill programs that I'm starting to add were also set to private. That should all be fixed now. If you do have any questions regarding the app or any feedback or requests, reach out and it'll be much appreciated. Thanks guys. So that's it. That was my balance session. Let me know down in the comments, reach out if you have any questions regarding that. That's realistic to what I'm doing for my one-arm handstand sessions at the moment. And then I'm alternating my strength work. So I'm doing bent arm one day, straight arm the next day, maybe a rest day or maybe not, and then just repeat the cycle.